Hey everybody, welcome to Becky's Garden. Today I'm going to be doing an update on my gooseberries, and I'm going to be sharing this gooseberry, which is the one in question. This is, I believe, a hybrid gooseberry. Now it has thorns, just like my gooseberries do, so it's not a jostaberry hybrid. I did some research and I had looked up this other one called a tasty berry, and that one has thorns. However, I have been unable to locate any images of that variety of gooseberry hybrid. If you look at the shape of the leaves on this, you'll notice that they resemble kind of like an arrowhead, and they have very sharp edges, very defined, and there's to each section of the leaf that is coming on, there are basically three segments. You'll see one to the left, one to the right, and then the arrowhead shape that goes to the top. And if you look really close, you can see that it has the gooseberry characteristics. When you get really close, the little hairy edges, but from a distance, it looks very clean cut. You can kind of see the thorns right there on the stems, and it's kind of got a reddish woody color to the stems at this point. I'll show you the very first two leaves. They're kind of a rounded color rather than the more oval shape. These ones are a little bit more round, but they're still not perfectly round. They still have a little bit of an oval shape, the original first two that came on. And then this leaf right here in the center, that was the second leaf that came on. And then this one was the third leaf that came on. And a bug ate a little bit there to the left at the top, but it was uniform on both sides. As you see on the right, it used to look like that on the left. This one right here is the fourth leaf, and then this is the fifth leaf that came on. Now, the fourth leaf did look like this leaf to begin with. This leaf right here will eventually look like this leaf, I do believe. And so yeah, this is the gooseberry hybrid that's in question. Now this gooseberry seed came from the exact same fruit, one piece of fruit, mind you, that this gooseberry came from, as well as all of these gooseberries in this pot, or in this container. I had them all growing in one little pot, but they were competing for the sun, and some of them were getting strangled out and not being able to grow to their best potential. So I had removed them from that original pot, separated them each by their, gently, very gently, and then I transplanted them into some containers that were hanging on my fence. However, I did some research and I found out that gooseberries like partial sun or partial shade, and so they're more of a shade loving, and they only need a few hours of sunlight. And so I've moved them into this in the time being, and I'm able to collect water in the bottom of the tote and spray them down really well, and they actually are really loving it, and they're thriving very, very well. Now, I had found a bunch of coconut coir container pots out in my garden shed, and so that's what they're in. And then there was a few I didn't have enough, so I put some of them into some herb containers that I had bought herbs in, and so that's the plastic ones. At the end of the season this fall, I will be transplanting them all into larger nursery type pots, like some black ones, and keeping them in that until they get to a decent height. So I'll be investing in some fairly decent sized pots, so that they won't have to move again until they are planted into the ground by their new owners, if I decide to sell them. I'm still on the fence whether or not I want to sell any of them. I kind of want to just keep them all to myself. But this one right here, this one I'm definitely keeping. And I'm going to be keeping this one. And then there's some other ones I have in here. I'm going to be keeping the ones with the white labels on them. And then there's probably going to be a few other ones that I keep. I'm not going to keep all of them, clearly. But I do know my mom wants a couple of them, so I'll be giving my mom a couple of them. But back to the hybrid in question here. This is such a beautiful little plant, and I have searched the internet high and low for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I have been unable to find any leaf shape in the gooseberry family that resembles this at all. So that's why I've come to the conclusion that this is some sort of a hybrid. And now the fruit came from a gooseberry plant that I had while I lived in Germany, and the label just said gooseberry. It did not give a variety of gooseberry, but they became a burgundy color, and they were very, very flavorful and very, very sweet. And so it'll just be interesting to see what kind of fruit develops on this. I'm guessing that this is a mixture of a European blackcurrant, I'm guessing, and it could be a red currant or a golden currant. I'm not sure what type of currant was mixed with this gooseberry, because of the fact that many Germans have gooseberries, and they also have currants in their own gardens, in their backyards. And they didn't have big yards where we were living, but everybody had like ample amounts of fruits, vegetables. They would have gardens. Like almost every single person had a garden or a few berry plants in their yard. And so I'm not sure. But yeah, this is really, really interesting. I have noted, I'm going to move my chair so there'll be a little bit of a sound while I'm dragging it over here, because I want to show you the shapes on one of these other plants that I have here, one of the other gooseberries, and how similar it is. If you look at the very first leaf here, that one right down here, you look at that shape right there, and if you compare that shape to that of the shape on this gooseberry, it is almost the same. And so I probably will end up keeping this plant, this gooseberry as well, but I'm waiting to see what the leaf patterns will turn into. There's a new leaf, if you notice, coming on right here. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a couple other gooseberries down here as well that kind of have the similar shape to the leaves, and some of them that look more like the traditional gooseberry, and most of them have the traditional gooseberry leaf, like the one on the very end in the larger container, that one straight up gooseberry. And I even noticed on this gooseberry right here that the leaves are sharper even, and so they're not as rounded as the other gooseberry, that one right there in the square pot, the big square pot. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens, and I'm excited to see the fruit that comes on these, because I mean, I'm going to guess that I probably won't even know what kind of fruit is going to be on this particular gooseberry hybrid until it produces. And I know for a fact that this is a gooseberry hybrid because it came from one piece of fruit. And I know this because I collected the seeds, but I didn't collect the seeds like you would standardly collect seeds. I just squeezed the seeds out onto a paper towel, and I allowed it to dry. And then after it dried, I placed it into a baggie, and I put the date on the baggie and where the seeds came from immediately. And then when I went to plant them last summer, and I want to say the end of August, in the dirt, so it could overwinter, I scratched all the seeds off of the paper towel, and I put them directly into one pot, and I didn't mix any other seeds into the pot. It went into its own soil first and foremost. And the fact that it has thorns, just like the other gooseberries, I do believe, honestly, that this is some sort of a hybrid, and I'm very, very, very excited to find out what kind of fruit's gonna come onto it. I mean, I have searched so far everywhere, all over the internet. I cannot find a gooseberry at all anywhere with this shape of leaf. However, if you look at current leaf patterns, they have the arrow shape, and then they have the large sides, like let's see, like this part would come way out like this and then come in. And so when it becomes a hybrid, I'm going to guess that it changes. But I mean, the fact that this has a separation, kind of like a blackberry or a raspberry, is very interesting. But it's definitely not a raspberry or a blackberry. Because I know for a fact they didn't plant any of those last year. And so I'm just kind of excited to find out what exactly this is going to end up being. Sorry about that. It's being weird. Here we go. So everybody take a look at this. Let me know what you think. Bye.